Good morning, everybody, and welcome here to the Michigan International Speedway as we're getting set for the drivers to race their way into race number 11 of the 2025 edition of the WRA Oreo Cup Series. Before we find out who will win here at the Irish Hills of Michigan, we got to find out who will be the drivers that will have to make the show on time as Geisha Racing is the first driver on track in the Jelly Belly Honda Accord for Daniel Voiles Racing. 15 minutes on the clock. These drivers spent the rest of their off week in New Zealand. Now they are back from their fun trip in New Zealand after a very interesting race that was dominated by Chris Washer. And now we're back here in the United States, back to where we belong in North America as we're getting set for our first of two races on a 2-mile oval. This is Michigan International Speedway. This is home to a lot of drivers in the NR community, like Elijah Gordon, Great Lakes, who just recently moved up here recently, and just to name a few in the community. And I also got some family members in Michigan, like Eric Stanberry, who's also here at Michigan, which we will see him later this afternoon in the races. Racing puts up a 36.554 in that number 81 machine. There's Remy Crampton. Crystal Fontaine did not make her home race 2 weeks ago. Back in the 08 this season, or back in the 08 car. We'll try to make this week's race here at Michigan. She already has a lap time on the board because her pit stall is right behind the start-finish line. As Remy Crampton's getting up to speed. Ari Springer, back in the 49 this week. Last time we saw Ari Springer, she crashed out of the Pocono race. Jessica Shelton, who made her debut at New Zealand 2 weeks ago. Isaac Willis in the 36, ready to get back to North America. Was not a good weekend for him. Sandy Stewart, this week's driver of the 33 for Richard Childress Racing. Sponsored by the Titan Solutions Chevy Camaro. Haley Rankin right there. Kevin Joseph going to run this week at Michigan. We will not see him until All-Star Race weekend in that 35. Elena Aurora, a Red Bull GT Series driver, this week's driver of the 84. Ran at Michigan not that long ago in the Red Bull GT Series, clocks in a 35.552 in the Jimmy Johnson Special Carvana scheme for the Brickyard 400, which she will attempt the Brickyard 400 later this season. Morgan Henderson in the 67. There's Cheyenne Berkshire for Red Dragon Racing. Trinity Lee, this week's driver of the 75. She's a GT Series driver. Eliana Woodson trying to make her debut in the number 96 for Red. It's the Trackhouse other part-time ride. This is their fourth ride, which is going to be part-time. Daniel Voiles in the 53. This week's driver of the 88, Dalton Jacobs. We haven't seen Dalton Jacobs since the AutoZone Amateur Series. Dalton Jacobs, under part of Cody Smart's team, running the Red Bull Chevrolet. Donovan Dixon, there's Cheyenne Berkshire on pit road. Katie Waters, we haven't seen her since she failed to qualify for a race. Behind her is Sam Tinley in the 60. There's Gene Evans, Geisha Racing, as we mentioned. Betty Johnson back in the 50 this week. And there's Chris Fontaine. So we've already met the 25 drivers in this field. Dean DeVoyle's heading for pit lane. There's Remy Crampton, Leo Hill, Dean DeVoyle's coming on pit road. Eliana Woodson currently fifth quickest. Gene Evans is the fastest of the GOGH homers. There he is. Kevin Joseph, or no, fail. Trinity Lee on the bubble at a 35.370. Now it's the 84 who's the quickest. That would be Elena Aurora. There she is. Remember, Carmen Alejandro spent most of the season trying to attempt races. She's only made 3 since this is going to be an all-star team. Eric Monaco jumped up 3 spots to 19th in the points. And of course, he is the highest of the GOGH homers. There's only 2 drivers right behind the GOGH homer brigade, Ian Dutta and Eric Sadler, who are both 37th and 38th in the points table. Katie Waters looking to make her second start. Let's see. Aurora's trying to make her first start of the year, the 4th start for the 84. Eric Monaco's made the most races of the GOGH homers in that 44 machine. Gene Evans is trying to make his 3rd start on the year. GOGH Racing in the 81 trying to make his 5th start of the year. Trinity Lee and Eliana Woodson would be trying to make their debuts this weekend. And of course, we will not see the 35 until All-Star Race weekend. Right now, the 35 would go home as things stand, with less than 7 minutes to go in the session. There's Eliana Woodson. Needs to find another consistent lap to make sure she is guaranteed to make the show. There's Jessica Shelton. Ina Voiles, Ruben Crampton. There's Desiree Voiles in the 61. There's Danny Rant in the 62. We will not see Carolina Bradley until South Boston, so Danny Rant will be in this car for this race and next week's race at Rockingham, North Carolina. Cheyenne Berkshire for Red Dragon Racing. There's Leo Hill. He is currently the 2nd highest of the GOGH homers in the in the 36th position in the points. He has the next amount of starts. Because remember, Eric Monaco, as we're on race number 11, he's missed 3 of the 10 races we've had this season. The thing is, Eric Monaco has a win, so we don't know if he'll be eligible for the playoffs or not. Sorry about that little flashing. Apologies for that. It's my stupid Windows that wants to pop up when I'm trying to record something. Gene Evans currently third quickest right now. Right now, he would make the show. Oh, somebody's blown up. That's a 96 of Eliana Woodson. And something mechanical is wrong with that 96 machine. Remember, she's in the show. That's not good for the 96 team. Remember, the 96 is locked in the show as things stand, barring anything happens between now and then. Wonder if it's an oil leak or something. And they're probably not going to have enough time to get that fixed. There's Kevin Joseph. We will see him at the All-Star race. Daniel Voiles. He probably won't enter next week's race because he will be focusing on his ASCC stuff. So we probably won't see Daniel Voiles until All-Star race weekend. Dalton Jacobs right now would not make the show. He'll have to try again at his next attempt race, which won't be until South Boston. So right now, the 6 drivers that would get in the show: Aurora, Monaco, Evans, Racing, Woodson, and Lee. As I'm hoping they fix whatever the issue was on the 96. Right now, she's sitting on pit road. Hopefully, they got whatever the issue fixed on that car. But they'll have some time between now and the race should they make the show this week. Katie Waters, we will not see her until the second half of the regular season. Excuse me. And she goes underneath Gene Evans. Find Trinity Lee in the 75. There she is. She is in the Cartoon Network Ford Mustang Dark Horse. Got the Powerpuff Girls, one of her favorite TV shows, which has got Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles. Hopefully Mojo Jojo stayed away from that car. Keep that in mind. Trinity Lee is a DRL Red Bull GT series. If somebody's smoking, it must be the 96. Yes, it is. So it looks like they got an oil leak or something wrong with that 96. So it must be an oil leak because there would be no reason why she would have black smoke coming out of the car unless there's like an oil leak or something. So we're down to a minute to go in the session. Right now, Trinity Lee would be the last driver to get into the race. And of course, Trinity Lee will be in the All-American Series when that season starts next year, which I've already made the announcement it will be delayed until next year. Which is fine because I'm looking forward to the next season of the Oreo Cup Series. And the races will now move to Monday after the Red Bull GT Series season ends. Now the 5 seconds left to go in the session. 2, 1, that's it. If you're on a flyer, you better make this lap count. Because remember, you got to be a 35370 to send Trinity Lee home. And so far, don't think anybody's going to beat Trinity Lee. See if any of these drivers are going to beat Trinity Lee. The answer is no. Yep, that might be it, ladies and gentlemen. And there's your fastest lady there, Elena Aurora. So it looks like I'm going to have a couple of my female drivers who we've not had in the series. They will make the show this week. Hooray! Happy, happy days. And that is it. Elena Aurora will make the show along with Eric Monaco, Gene Evans, Geisha Racing, Eliana Woodson, and Trinity Lee will make their debut as they have qualified for this week's race. Unfortunately, the drivers who will not make this show and will have to try again next week or in a couple of weeks or several weeks, depending on the matter, they are Ari Springer, Desiree Voiles, Danny Rant, Cheyenne Berkshire, Dalton Jacobs, Katie Waters, Daniel Voiles, Betty Johnson, Sam Tinley, Isaac Willis, Kevin Joseph, Donovan Dixon, Sandy Stewart, Jessica Shelton, Morgan Henderson, Leo Hill, Kaylee Rankin, Remy Crampton, and Crystal Fontaine. Those drivers will not be in the race this afternoon. They will have to try again next week or, for some of them, in a couple of weeks' time. So that's it for GOGH Qualify. If you enjoyed this session, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the PCSRA and WRA crew today. We'll see you back here at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time as our race week continues here on the PCSRA Sports and Gimmick Channel, celebrating 15 years as the best in our racing since 2017.